Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Pay homage to Buddha Dhamma Sangha, homage to Buddha Bhante, Guru Bhante Bhikkhu Sangha. Pay my metta to all the Nagarikas, Samneras, Upasakas, Upasikas. So today I would like to share you the Gatha from Dhammapada number 5. It is Nahi Verena Verani Sammantita Kudachanam Averena Cha Sammanti Esa Dhammo Sanantano. Nahi Verena Verani. It means hatred is not appeased by hatred. By non-hatred alone, hatred is appeased. Esa Dhammo Sanantano. This is an eternal law, Sanatana Dharma. Esa Dhammo Sanatano. So, it is a Sanatana Dhamma, which means a law, eternal law, which will be always there, which was always there, which is always here now, and which always is going to be like this, So this is the Gatha Buddha gave when he was in Jetavana monastery with regard to two women. So it's a story of two women, how they carried their story of hatred and retaliation from life to life, how it got carried from life to life. So the story goes like this, that there was one family in Savatthi, maybe, I think, in Savatthi, and they were, I think, farmer, and the father of that family passed away, and the mother and the son, these two were alone there in the home. They were together in the home, and the son was doing all the work, the field work, agricultural work, household work, many other works. So the mother felt that he should get some help, and then mother asked him to get married, bring a woman to home, one wife. But the son always used to say, "Mother, please don't say that. I will look after you all my life." So he would always say, "I don't need to get married. I will look after you." But the mother kept on saying and saying and saying, and then as a result, he eventually agreed to get married. And then the son said that, I want to get married to a particular family, which he knew. Mother suggested some family, but he said, I want to get married to a particular family. So mother said, that's fine. If you want to get married, you can do so. And then he got married to the family, to a woman whom he knew, and then they got married. But the wife could not conceive for many years, and then the mother thought that it won't be good to have no child. So mother suggested to get married another woman, the second wife. And they were kind of ready to get married. And then the wife, she knew about it, she overheard this, and then she thought that if a second wife comes, then I will not get that much of importance and attention, and it won't be good for me. So she thought she should do something about it. And then she spoke with some family whom she knew, and she spoke to some woman, that family, to one young woman to get married to his husband. And then they were not agreeing initially, but later they said, okay, we will get married. He said, if you get married, then you will be the chief wife. If you get a son, a child, or children, so you will be the chief in the home. So somehow she convinced that woman whom she knew. So she thought that at least if I get married, if he gets married to a woman whom I know, then I will have a good time. I will not have to, it will be good for me because I already know her, it is my person. So like that she thought, and then they got married. But even though she got her married to his husband, but she was still not totally happy with it, obviously. And then she told her that whenever you get conceived, let me know. And the second wife used to inform her about whenever she got conceived. And this first wife used to give some kind of medicine to miscarriage, to carry the child. And that's how the first child got miscarried. So also the second child. And then other people somehow, some other ladies in that locality, I came to know about it, and then they asked her that, do you get pregnant? Yeah, I get pregnant, but then I get miscarried. Then they spoke with her, and then they eventually got suspicious about the first wife, and they asked, do you tell her about this whenever you get conceived? He said, I tell her. Then you are stupid. You shouldn't tell her, So then at the third time, she didn't tell her. But then when her belly was a little bigger, the first wife came to know, and then she somehow put again in the food the medicine, and then she got her son. The child got miscarried, but at this point, the child was already quite the fetus. The fetus was already overgrown. It was not ideal for miscarriage. It was not ideal. And then a trouble happened, and then as a result of that, the second wife got ill, and then she knew that she's going to die. And before she died, she was so angry. She was very much upset. She was totally devastated, as you can imagine. Somebody who just ruined her life, her child. So there was a huge amount of anger, dissatisfaction, and hatred toward the first wife. Then she cursed her, right? She said that you have ruined me. You brought me here and twice destroyed my children, and now I too will die. After death, may I reborn as a yakini, capable of devouring your children. She died and was reborn in that very house as a cat. so so she was so unhappy, and said, I should become a yakini. Yakini is something like a demon, something like a they are of very different kind, right? They have certain power, but they also have they're not that powerful in the sense that they can do something good, or they can achieve spiritual growth, but they have some power, and usually they use in a very wrong way. And so these are the yakini. They are one being, like human being. They are also one being. They are not like Peta, the spirit, but they are like, you can call them more like a demon. So she said, I should, you have did all of that, and now I should become a yakini, and then I should eat your child, devour your child. I should do that. So with that strong, this thing, she passed away, and after her death, she was born as a cat in that very home. And then the husband came to know about this whole incident, how her first wife got her killed. So she too became very angry, very upset, and he was also out of control. And he beat her, did all of that, and then she was heavily beaten by her husband. The husband did a very heavy beating, and then she died. And then she was born as a hen in that very home. So then whenever the hen would lay egg, the cat would come and eat, right? So this happened 2 times, and the third time, this hen too knew that this cat always comes, and he said, so at the third time she also kind of cursed the cat, saying that you always eat my child, so I should also eat your child. And then they died, and then after the death, the hen died and was reborn in the forest as a tigress. The hen was born as a tigress, and the cat was born as a doe, like a she-deer, deer. 3 times the tigress ate the doe's fawns. The doe, dying, thought, she has eaten my fawn 3 times, and will now eat me. May I be reborn as a cat. May I be reborn so I can devour her and her children. So this tigress eaten the child of that doe, and then similar thing, and she also said the same thing, cursing her. And then the doe died and was reborn as a yakini, and then he was born as a yakini, and the tigress was reborn as the daughter of a family in Savatthi. And now this tigress, she became a woman. She was born as a human being, as a woman in Savatthi. And then she came to age and became, she married and she had a child. And then this yakini, and they were again together. You see, this is one of the things. If you hate somebody too much and you have this this transaction of retaliation, so you are going to be somewhere around, right? You won't be born too far. You will always be close by. You see, and then she got a child, and then this yakini was always trying to eat eat her child, and she would disguise as a friend. Now these yakini, they also have the power to take their human form, and then they come to human form. But it is said that the way to recognize such being who are not actually human is that their eyes won't winkle like us. It won't blink. So that is a way to recognize. So she did that, and she snatched and ate him. She ate again second time and third time. When the woman became pregnant, she thought that this yakini will again come. So what she did was she went to her parent home, right? So she thought, at least if I go to my parent home, this yakini will not find me. That's how she thought. She thought. And then she went to her parent home. And at that time, this yakini was on a duty to bring water from Anuttatta lake. So Anuttatta lake is a lake in, I think, in high Himalaya or somewhere. So this yakini, of course, they also have certain jurisdiction. They also have certain, their king, and then they also have duty. So she was on the duty to bring water, and as a form of duty or punishment. So during that time, and it was an important moment, because since this yakini was busy in bringing water, this lady, she could just go to her parent home, and this yakini was not aware. Otherwise, this yakini was always after her, right? The yakini was always after her. And then later she came to know again that this lady went to her parent home, so she followed her to the parent home as well. And then, and that parent home was very much near to the Savatthi, where the Buddha was staying. And then they actually visited the monastery, and they were taking bath in the monastery's pond. And then she again saw this yakini coming to eat her child. So she just took the child, and then just went into the monastery and just went near the Buddha, and he said, she just put at the feet of Buddha, and he said, I give him to you, please save his life. Because she thought that now only Buddha can save her child, because always it is the case. Already 2 times the child was eaten. So this yakini again came to the monastery, but this yakini was stopped by a guardian deity called Sumana Devi. So there was one deva who was guarding the monastery gate, Sumana Devi. So then that Sumana Devi, that guardian deity, was not allowing the yakini to come in. So then the Buddha asked, Buddha just told her to come in, and then the yakini also came in. And then the Buddha told them, you two have been together in many lives. It's not the first time that you are together. And then Buddha said, you both have been eating each other's child from many lives. And then the Buddha told the whole story to them, and it is your hatred, and you, he said, why do you act like this? If you do not meet a Buddha like me, your enmity will last for an entire aeon, kalpa, just as between snakes and mongoose, cats and crows, or owls and crows. Why do you repay hatred with hatred? Hatred is never appeased by hatred, but only by non-hatred. This is the eternal law, Sanatana Dharma. So this is what the Buddha told them, and then the Buddha gave them the teaching, that it is because of your hatred that is keeping you eating, keeping you both in bad terms, fighting, quarreling, and, taking revenge, so eating each other. So then the Buddha gave a teaching on that, and then after the teaching, this Yakini becomes a Sotapanna. You see, she Yakini achieved the first stage of enlightenment, and then many other also got enlightened. Then when the Buddha knew that this Yakini became Sotapanna, that is the first stage of enlightenment, so the Buddha told the mother, give her your child give your child to this Yakini. She said, no, Bhante, I can't give you. The Buddha said, no, you can give her, she won't harm, And the Yakini took the child, kissed the child, and then just hugged the child, and then returned the child, saying, Bhante, never that their story of hatred concluded, ended there, And then Buddha said, then the Yakini said, now how do I survive? How I don't have any proper livelihood, for this Yakini. So then the Buddha said, one of the problem with this Yakini is that they don't have proper source of food, so therefore they have to do all kinds of, apart from this revenge, they also have to rely on, some other wrong means of surviving. But now that this Yakini is a Sotapanna, she can't kill anybody, right? It is not possible for a Sotapanna to kill anyone. So Buddha said, don't worry, I will tell this woman to feed you. And then this woman, she agreed, and then she took her to her home. But then as a Yakini, she was not so comfortable in her home, right? Wherever she was kept. And then she put her outside the city, outside the village, in one proper place. And every day she used to give her food. And then she was just happy, she was having good time. And then she thought, she's helping me a lot, I should also help her. So how she helped her is that as a Yakini, she had this power to predict or to know about the rain. They know about the rain, the time of rain, when it will rain, when it will not rain. All of that, this Yakini would know. They had that power. So she would always tell, okay, this year there will be more rain, so this year there will be less rain. So whenever there is more rain, she would put the crop on higher land. And whenever there is no rain, less rain, then she would put on the lower land. So she used to help, and then as a result, she never failed in crop, in the this agricultural crop. So other people ask, how do you know? Why do you not always fail? So they told about her, and so you can also take help. So they used to go and give a lot of gift and other thing to this Yakini, and they used to help all of the other people as well. And as a result, she used to get a lot of gift and other thing. So she built a kind of alms giving, like a food distribution food distribution place for public, right? And it is said that it continues to this day. So it continued for to this day, and we don't know where this this place is, but it must be somewhere, right? So you see, in Indian culture, there is some culture of offering something to some. Maybe it must be Kali Mata, I don't know. So some devis that generally, you see every village there is some devis and all of that. So must be in some place, I don't know which place. So this is the story about how hatred kept them, troubling each other, and kept them hating, killing, all of that. But at the same time, they also, it seems to have some spiritual qualities, because even as a yakini, she becomes a sotapanna. Sotapanna is first stage of enlightenment. So that's something interesting in this story. And even though they had this problem, but they also had spiritual qualities. So this is something we can see, and how Buddha helped them. How the teaching of Buddha helped them as a savior. How Buddha saved them. So this is also very interesting in this story. So we can learn that from this story that we may get sometime, say, deceived or troubled or whatever by people, but we should not generate anger, hatred. We should try our best to forgive and forget, forgiveness, patience, letting go. That is something we have to practice, and maybe sometime with regard to some specific people, you might find yourself losing patience, right? That may be sometime due to some karmic influence. You can, as you see in this story, that generally they are good, but then when it comes to their enemy, particular, that sort of pricks. It just ignites that the deep embedded anger, or hatred, or that retaliatory mind, the intention to retaliate. So that must be sometime deep down in our heart, right? So it can come if you sometime meet some people with whom you had some story in the past, right? In this story also, that is one of, I already mentioned to you that that if you have a strong connection of hatred, then you are going to be around. Somehow you have to meet. You can't escape the meeting. So that's something I think. When I imagine, I already feel quite, quite, what do you say, afraid. Maybe somebody around, it's like somebody just around you, to harm you. So that's it's something very, I would say, it's basically very frightful, right? I feel very frightful that that somebody in my past would be after me, so that's something very frightening. But then let's say, even though you may meet somebody like that, who just after you, but then if you can let go of hatred, if you develop patience, then you can nullify that story. That story of past can be nullified, can be washed out only by non-hatred. And Buddha said this is a Sanatana Dharma. Esa Dhammo Sanatana. So it was always there. It's going to be there. So we can never ever justify anger, hatred, retaliation, right? If you start justifying, then that's wrong. That's that too is a Sanatana Dharma, which means if you justify it, then you have to face it, right? You again have to be the you have to be the target of that hatred, right? Which you justified, right? So we can never ever justify, right? So somehow we have to see that we are letting out our anger, hatred toward anyone, toward anybody, right? So this is a very important story about this Yakini. So I wish that you are able to generate, and opposite of this is of course metta, but more than metta I would say khanti, patience, and as Buddha said, khanti paramang tapo titikka, that patience is the highest tapasya, highest austerity, right? Patience is very important, right? So in our life, patience is very, very important at every moment, in a smaller way, in a bigger way. It's a very important practice. And then when you have patience, then of course you can also khanti metta balenacha, so you can practice metta as well, compassion or loving kindness, all of that. So we need to practice patience, and in our metta meditation we can give metta to some people with whom you have some difficult past, past in the sense this life, right? Some few years in this life, whom you have some difficulty. So after you give metta to yourself and then your close people and friends and relatives, then you must also give metta to few people whom you have some difficulty, right? So that your hatred toward them, that bad memory would dissolve, and then you don't have to have a story with them in many lives, right? So you will have metta, and when you have metta, then of course it's a good story always. You will have good story coming up in many lives till you achieve nirvana. So with this I conclude. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.